Growth bot team. And we're going to be talking about messenger bots and specifically estimator bots and how they are changing the way people interact with their business and the new shift in buying habits. So especially with a lot of the states and towns on lockdown with COVID-19 and social distancing, we are significantly seeing a shift in buying habits and how people want real-time buying decisions. But even before COVID-19 or the coronavirus, these new buying habits were already here, but they seem to be on an exponential shift. So I want to welcome Deb and Jen from the Simple Growth Bot team and Garrett Matthews from Matthews Lawn and Pest down in Shreveport, Louisiana. Garrett, if people haven't heard who you are or what you're all about, if you wouldn't mind just giving us a quick background on yourself and your business and a little background, and we'll kind of dive into it.
We're like a lot of other people, just basic landscape maintenance, fertilization, and pest control. Those are our three primary. Those are the ones we push. Using a lot of Facebook stuff to bring in a lot of business. Felt like we were kind of reaching some diminishing returns. Wanted to kind of find a way to, maybe try to find the next thing, not necessarily change what we were doing, but try to find something else to add to it. And then that's when I got hooked up with the bot team, and we started building one out and got it going, and hopefully I've got all the kinks ironed out. I think we've got some data that hopefully we can share to show people that it's definitely working. Nobody's arguing and nobody's denying the fact that while there are multiple platforms and there's multiple different things to bring in clients and to have conversations with people, so many of the demos, so many people that are in the demo that we're looking for are living on Facebook. And, people have got all kinds of different schedules. Some people are night owls. Some people are, supposed to be at work and they're on their phone, and maybe they can't have a phone conversation. But what we're finding is that through this messenger bot, we're having a ton of conversations with people without them having to actually call. And, to be transparent, is the bot 100%? No, it's not. But what it more importantly does is it gets the conversation started, and it's giving people enough information that we feel like what we are doing is we're taking people off the market. If somebody's on their couch watching TV at 9 o'clock at night, they're not going to be able to call and get a hold of the business. But if they see your ads scrolling through Facebook, most of the time, for ours, roughly 80% of the time, we're able to actually get somebody a live estimate. And the other 20% of the time, we've at least captured their information and told them, hey, we can't give it to you automated, but we're going to get this worked up and get it fired off to you. And that's happening the next morning. So at the very least, we've got a jump start on anybody else, especially think of your competition. So let's just say maybe you can't get them an estimate. Well, if your competition isn't using this technology, this is just as good as a phone call. You've got that conversation started. You've got their information. You can go ahead if you've got office staff or however you're doing it, get it entered in and get it fired off. That's one thing I'll tell you that we've learned early on, though. We've put a lot of money behind it, and we've had what I would consider some success with it. But we have one person now that, you've got your people in the office, or maybe it's you answering the phone. We've got one person who's primarily spends the majority of their time during the day just having conversations with clients, answering questions, or, getting the incomplete data and entering it into SA and getting them the quotes and all that stuff. And you're able to respond faster. Speed kills. So you're able to get to people faster. You're able to get that estimate process started. Hopefully, if you start the communication line, they feel like, well, I'm just going to wait and see what they say. And, a lot of times, it might not care. Maybe I'm charging $75 and my competition's charging $65. But if I get on that $75 price soon enough and they're comfortable with it, they're going to go with you. So you don't, it's just all about getting out and being in front and being faster. And just having the conversation. So, like I said, I would really encourage anybody that starts pushing these messenger ads, though, to, if you're going to be serious with it and you're going to put some money behind it, be ready. I view Messenger a lot like you would text messages. When I send somebody a text, I hope to get a response back relatively quick. So I don't know how well it's going to be received, or I think it's going to all be for naught if if somebody messages you or they give you your information and you wait an entire day to start talking back to them. Well, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. So those are just some things that we found and some lessons that we're learning with using R so far.
Okay, yeah, all great feedback, Aaron. That's one of the things that we were doing some market research in with our company. We've been using these bots for probably 3-4 years now. A lot of our competition, if they were driving Facebook ads, were using the generic Facebook template where it could go in and ask the hours of operation or some of the services they provide, and then you actually had to wait for a real-time person to respond, and it could take days or weeks for somebody to even check that message. Mm-hmm. Where the interesting part of the bot technology that we've been utilizing with Simple Growth and my lawn care company in the past is that the bot had some AI, artificial intelligence, where it actually continued the conversation, like you said. If they're sitting on the couch at 9 p.m. at night and they're interested in, like, hey, I want a lawn mowing or fertilizing estimate, they can put some information in, like their address, their zip code, and it could base an automated price in real time. And even if you are a little bit higher, like you said, Garrett, theoretically, you're taking them emotionally off the market. So
as long as they're comfortable with it. If you give them a price and they're comfortable with it, they're just going to go with it, Yeah.
So, and I guess one of and obviously we've done a few talks nationally, Garrett, together across the country, San Diego, Dallas, talking about the new shifts in buying habits. And you're always on the bleeding edge of things. A lot of the biggest questions before we had this, people are submitting the questions is, should we use them in our market? Because our market is different, or our business is different. What are your thoughts on, should a service business such as a lawn care or home cleaning company take the leap of faith and at least try them? And I guess it doesn't matter if you think your business is or not. Is it overcome by buying habits, or what's your thoughts on that?
So I think that generally speaking, what I feel like is that people are getting used to technology. Like we don't hide the fact that it's a bot. We've named him and we've tried to be fun with it and all that stuff. And so we try not to, like, we don't hide the fact that it is automation. I think that's where a lot of people can screw up, is if you try to. People want to deal with humans and they want to deal with a business and they want there to be a face. So if you're too fake with it, I think it's going to come off as disingenuous. So, if you come out of the gate and you're like, hey, this is a tool, this is an automated tool, and we can use it and we can help you. I think that people are curious, and I think that they're going to want to use it. And we've done some experimenting, and I've had the ladies alter one of ours to where we actually are not requiring as much information up front, because, like I said, people are genuinely curious, and you can change the verbiage and the wording around in your ads to where if you can just get people, all you really need is their address. An email is good, and I think people are just. I think we all are just inherently used to having to put an email address into stuff, and they've got to understand, if I want to know what the service is going to cost, they've got to have my address. So we've stopped it at that. Actually, we already got your name because it's through the messenger, and all we're asking you for is your email address and your address, and then we're just giving them the quote. And yes, we're having some people that we can't get them to communicate back with us. But for every one that's not communicating back with us, we've got multiple that are communicating with us and turning it into actual clients. So, like I said, people are curious. They're nosy, and they're inquisitive. And I think when you can, when you push it out there and be like, hey, check out this tool we've got. I can instantly quote you right now. I think you have a lot of people that just want to know just because they want to know. I think you've got a lot of people that are curious, and they might think it costs $100, and you shoot them a price for 60, and they're like, "Oh crap, I can do that." Mm-hmm. So I think in terms of a buying habit, a lot of people, when's the last time you talked to anybody at Amazon? You don't. You do it all through the computer. So I think it's kind of taking some of those aspects and some of those different variations, I guess, if you will, and kind of mingling them into our system. And we've had a lot of people, make like, "Oh, that's so cool," that's cool technology. So, I'm sure to some small degree, it shows that, you're not just some guy in a truck, you're using this, for lack of a better term, this advanced technology to some degree.
No, that's a good term. It's advanced technology.
So yeah, there's definitely a ton of pluses. And like I said, you've got to just play into people's curiosity. And you've got to be genuine and real, and just don't try to fake people out. Those are the biggest lessons I feel like we've learned, and the biggest takeaways that I've had, I guess.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to jump on what he said, because Garrett made a really good recommendation, and we've changed this in all of our bots, is we've also brought in video, because we do tell them, like, this is it's a chat bot, and give them a name, but then it's really, I think, to make it to take it and kind of solidify that it's a business with a person behind it, we just ask for videos from our owners. And when you when they get a quote, when they see Garrett pop up giving them a quote, and then they see the automated price, it's almost like you feel like you have a relationship with him already, and you want to use Garrett because there's this video and he's talking to you and there's this price. And I think that it really, those together, like it being a bot and then at the right time bringing in the owner, is so powerful.
I love it. So Gary, basically it sounds like you would suggest these things will probably work in any market. You just need to be honest and genuine about it and kind of create that relationship. And obviously Jen's kind of building upon that. So quick question for Jen and Deb from the Simple Growth Bot team is, how can we use them? So a lot of questions around, what if I don't have a big social media presence? What if I just have a lot of traffic on my website, or vice versa? What are the different channels that people are using basically as avenues to drive into the actual bot to actually have communication with their existing or future clients?
You want to go, Deb? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go first. You can follow up, see all the things I forget. But so as far as website goes, we have this capability of putting the chat bot right on the website so that people can use your website for more than just a destination, but they can use it and turn it into a conversation with you and your business. And when they start that conversation, they're taken to your messenger bot on your Facebook business page, and the conversation continues there. So it's just one other way that they can get into your messenger bot without you already have traffic going to the website.
And then a lot of companies get a free quote on their website, but what it is a static page. You put all your information in, and it gets sent somewhere, and then the next day somebody gets it, and they send you an email. And that kind of ties into what Garrett was saying, is like, when you want it right away. You're sitting on your phone. Well, we can take that sitting on your phone technology to your website, basically, and you can get it immediately. It's not like you have to enter your email, and then somebody gets to the office tomorrow, and then they give you a quote. It happens all right there.
Yeah.
And some of the other ways that people are having success is, so let's say you're active on Instagram, or you're active on LinkedIn, or you have a really good email list. We give you URL codes that you can put anywhere that people can link in to get an estimator. So let's say you have a weekly newsletter you send out in your email, and you can say, hey, you want to get a quote? They just click this link, it'll take them right in. Or if you're good at LinkedIn and you do regular engagement with your community there, again, you have a link and it takes them right into your estimator bot. And then one of the kind of greatest is, and we're doing this with Garrett, is we give you a phone number, and people can text into that phone number. And when they text into that phone number, sorry, I don't think that's me, that's static. When they text into that phone number, it takes them right into your messenger. So it doesn't have to just be off your Facebook page. There's so many other ways, wherever you're engaging with people. If you have a good YouTube channel, we'll give you a link and it takes them into Messenger. And the other great,
the text message, though,
so let's say you have on your truck.
Sorry.
No,
go ahead, Garrett.
No, I was just going to say I don't know if you misspoke, but the text message you said it can take in the messenger, but you can also, the one we're testing right now, it's actually in SMS. It's doing it through text message.
So yeah, I mean, so I guess to answer that question, there seems
Right.
like there is multiple channels and different ways you can drive traffic. So even if you're stronger in one area, not stronger in the other, driving 4 to 5, maybe 6 different channels now all into this bot, or staying natively on SMS text message is a way to do it. So I know everybody's time here is obviously is of essence, so I want to keep this within reason here. But one of the other things that I really wanted to dive into is, Garrett, I don't know if you mind sharing, but I know you've had some interesting stats, and as we're well aware of, you're definitely an influencer of Facebook spend and ad spend, and we've kind of discussed that you can do this organically and do it off your website, some other places. So I'll kind of let you lead, and then when you're done, I'll kind of hop over to Deb and Jen, because they've also got some interesting feedback of people not actually using paid ads as well. So I kind of want to get some feedback of how well can it work in a non-paid sense, and then if you are going to invest in an ad, what's that kind of spend and conversion possibly look like?
So, I think everybody or anybody that has messed with Facebook at all, a lot of people have drugged their feet and got behind the content game. And, I feel like we got into it earlier than a lot of people. And, it worked really well out of the chute. But we've seen a lot of, we've seen it get more expensive. And I can tell you right now that for us, the messenger ads are not only are they working better than Facebook early days, they're cheaper than Facebook early days, what we were initially seeing. I was telling you earlier, I've got it pulled up. So like today, or this year, actually since February 1, we've spent over $3,500 in messenger ads. And that has netted us. That $3,500 spend has created 692 conversations at a spend of $5.12 per conversation, and we're closing our Facebook leads right now at 48%. So basically, I'm getting through Messenger. We're getting them for just over $10. Now some of that, if you dug down, yes, you could pull. Some of these people were existing clients that see the tool and are going through it. So, there is some margin of error in there. But even with the margin of error, like I said, we've had 692 different conversations since February 1, and we're paying $5 to get those conversations started. I'll do that all day long. I'll spend a lot more.
You're saying that was basically over about 62 to 63 days you had that many conversations.
Over a 60-day period, we've had almost 700 different conversations, and
wow.
We've $5.12. And we're closing Facebook. Facebook in general is closing at about 48% for us right now. So even if you doubled that. Even if you said that I was paying $10 for conversation, that still means I'm paying just over $20 per lead, and that's just good. That's good spend. So
in our market, that would be probably a quarter or a little more than that of the normal spend of a normal hard ad off of social media or normal ad spend.
Yeah,
and $70 to $80 per lead customer, correct?
It's the cheapest lead source we've had since we've had our head wrapped around marketing in general and done a true job of tracking it. And over the last 5-year period, over a 5-year period, it's definitely been, it has proven to be our cheapest lead source right now. And Facebook they want you in Messenger, so we're getting more reach, we're getting more impressions. Everything about it is just working better. So I'm going to say the same thing about this as I said about content 5 years ago. Get off your ass and do it because it's working, and you're going to look back and wish you would have done it earlier.
And Garrett, just to add on that, right now, obviously, things are a little crazy right now with the COVID-19 kind of social lockdown. But what we're seeing is actually a benefit for most of the people we're talking to, that most of our competitors are actually contracting. They're pulling their ad spend back. Mm-hmm. And what we're finding between Google and Facebook, that the ad spend or cost of the ad spend is anywhere sometimes between 50 to 75% less because our competitors aren't doing it. So I'm curious your thought. I guess my thought is if there was ever a time to be an early adopter or double down on Messenger or even paid advertising to begin with on Facebook or Google, now is the time. Kind of like you said, you need to get your butt in gear and do it if you're going to do it. But right now, during the spring rush, and people are more apt to do something automated like this, or at least have a distant conversation, it seems like this would be the intelligent play to double down and outwork your competition.
In the last, and I'm just pulling it up, in the last 7 days, $500 has netted me 55,000 impressions. So it's your money is going way further right now because of, yes, all of those things. Not only are people pulling back their spend money, so all of these platforms work off of a bidding system. The more competition there is, the higher it drives up the price. But people are pulling off of it, so there's not as much competition, so it's driving the price down. But not only that, everybody is, I say everybody, but there are a ton of people that are at home right now, sitting on the couch, thumbing through their phone. So I would actually say that contrary to pulling out, you should actually double down if you've got the spend for it right now. Right now, you should be putting more money into it because you've got a greater opportunity to get in front of more people, even if it wasn't a cheaper price, but that's just an added benefit. It's cheaper.
Yeah, and that's really what we're doing right now at Simple Growth. We're looking at those stats, and if you've got the cash and you have the confidence, which I think at this point you should, with the stats there, this is the time to make that ad spend. Whether it's in Messenger or not, it's a whole different story. But I think in general, this is the time the service business should do it. And so I guess last question I got for you, Garrett, just on average, and I don't know if you have this number, but based on that $3,000 ad spend ballpark, or closer to $3,500, would you have a ballpark idea of the lifetime value, or at least the yearly value of those contracts that have come in? So you've spent $3,000 ballpark.
So I can tell you that a client, and when you look at the company as a whole, a client is worth $1,190. So just for easy math, call it $1,200. So, if we've had 692 conversations times 48%, 332 times 1,190. So that's netted us, that $3,500 spends netted us about $395,000 worth of work if you work off of averages. So, it's the Coke machine. It's the Coke machine theory. You got to look at it like a big Coke machine. Every time I put in X number of dollars, it's going to spit out a client. So you just got to ask yourself, is it worth that? If I told you for $3,500, I'd give you $400,000 in work, would you do it? Most reasonable people would say yes. Now, I also think that, there's a lot of other things in play here in terms of brand awareness and positioning and content and all that stuff. So, I don't want to sit here and kid people. Is the Messenger ad working? Yes, it's working phenomenal, but you still got to do your other things. I think that it just is, it's proven to be the gasoline on the fire, if you will, for us. So it's, I would tell anybody that's looking for that silver bullet, it might not be the silver bullet that you're wanting, but if you're doing all the other stuff, it's going to definitely be some rocket fuel.
Love it. And I know, Garrett, obviously you're big on the ad spend, and it's not a huge amount of money, but $3,500 is $3,500. And with a $400,000 return, that's hard to argue with. But I know Jen and Deb, you guys had some other people that we work with. Without mentioning their names, we had 2 individuals that really aren't doing anything with paid advertising to really speak of any volume, but they've received some traffic off their website as well as just organically on their Facebook page. Would you mind kind of sharing some of the stats? Because I think a lot of people that watch this are like, well, I don't know if I'm really going to jump in with both feet or head first like Garrett does and put an ad spend of, $1,500 to $1,700 a month in this. But we are seeing some pretty interesting results even for people that aren't doing a paid ad spend at all. So would you guys mind just kind of sharing those stats? Obviously, we'll keep the anonymity of the people we're working with, but I think these are interesting stats that people might want to hear.
Sure. So one of them has on their Facebook pop-up. And now, granted, these 2 people that we're talking about have not been, their audiences are a little smaller because they're not doing paid traffic. And so this is a small subsection that they've had people come in so far, and they have good traffic from their website, but they came in off the Estimator bot. They got a quote for lawn care. When they contacted them, they say, your price point. So then it flipped over to human conversation. We recommend a full service. The person took the full service for the full year. So basically they paid for their whole entire bot for like 2 years off of one contract that somebody came in off a Facebook pop-up. And again, that's where they were, whenever they were ready to make that move, that bot was there to give them the service they needed. They didn't have to wait for tomorrow or the next day. And so that was one of the first ones we wanted to share. Another one is someone had on their Facebook page, and if you click the send message button, once we set it up, they'll take you right into the quote. So they went in and they clicked send message, and then they used one of our keywords. I don't know if it was quote or lawn mowing or fertilization, but when they did that keyword, it triggered our bot to ask them if they'd like a quote for one of the services that our client had. And they clicked the service they wanted for, and I think it was lawn mowing, but then it also turned into like a hardscape contract. And they have now paid for their bot in like 2 years over with one contract that they just came in. And so people are getting really great success, not only from ads, but just from having the availability. And I kind of like what Garrett was saying about not just one thing or the other, it's building your brand. And so, they have their brand is being built out and the opportunity to give an estimate in all these different places, and it's converting.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. Garrett, any closing thoughts kind of as we wrap this up? And it just as a special to kind of pay it forward with all the chaos that's going on around us. If this is something that interests you, in the comment notes here on the actual post, I think we have a day or two left on our spring special, but we've actually slashed our setup price for the Done For You bots through Simple Growth by 50%. To get that last minute push for the spring rush, depending where you're in the country. So that we're going to try to pay that forward. We'll keep that in the show notes here if you look down below the post. But Garrett, any closing thoughts? I appreciate you having trust in us and helping us beta test this thing from the early days, ground up, giving us some phenomenal feedback how to optimize and make this work, not only for yourself but for the general public that we've been servicing with this.
Yeah, no, I mean it's don't suck, just get it.
All right. Well, as we wrap this up, make sure tomorrow you check it out, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, every Friday. SA Weekly Talk Show is going to be going live once again on the Service Autopilot main Facebook page. So Service Autopilot's main Facebook page, 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Cody Owen, Mike Callahan to be going live. SA Weekly Talk Show, interviewing just studs like Garrett down in Louisiana. People that are experts like the Simple Growth Bot team and many others. I'm going to actually be going live with Cody tomorrow, and to continue the presence of bots and estimators, we're going to be talking about conversational marketing. So it's going to be about a 45-minute to an hour talk where I'm going to actually break down step by step the new buying habits of today's consumers and just how they have changed. So just like the Netflix, the Ubers, the Amazons, people are requiring real-time buying decisions 24/7. And if a person isn't available, just like Garrett said, we want to have a way to have a automated but personal conversation to get them the information they need in real time on their decision time and close the sale, or at least get them off the market from shopping you to your other competitors. So once again, I appreciate the Simple Growth Bot team, Deb and Jen, and Garrett down in Shreveport. We'll see you tomorrow. SA Weekly Talk Show, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, right on the Service Autopilot Facebook page.